Have you ever realized that the greatest moments of your life often begin where you least want to be? Sometimes destiny hides itself in the smallest inconveniences. A delayed flight, a changed seat, a stranger's presence. Billionaire Ethan Hale hated commercial flights. He avoided them at all costs. He avoided people at all costs. But tonight, his private jet had been grounded due to emergency maintenance, and every first-class seat on the last flight of the evening was taken. Before we continue, if you love stories that warm your heart and awaken emotions that help you to become a better person, be sure to subscribe to this channel and show your love by liking the video. Oh, and don't forget to comment below where you're watching us from. We love to know that. So Ethan Hale, one of the richest men in the country, found himself walking down a narrow aisle of economy class, the dim cabin lights flickering above him like weak stars. He was exhausted. His company was collapsing under a brutal scandal. His lawyers were tearing each other apart. His board wanted him gone, and on top of all that, he hadn't slept more than 4 hours in the last 3 days. He just wanted silence, a seat, darkness, nothing more. But when he reached row 28, seat B, the one assigned to him after the unfortunate system issue, silence was the last thing he found. A little girl, no older than 7, sat in the window seat. Messy braids, purple backpack, bare feet tucked under her legs like she lived on airplanes. She looked up just as Ethan placed his bag overhead. "You look tired, sir," she said. Ethan froze. He wasn't used to being spoken to by strangers, much less children. He cleared his throat, uncomfortable. "Damn, it's been a long week." She tilted her head, studying him with eyes far too observant for her age. "No, it's not your week that's tired, it's your heart." Ethan's hand faltered on the seat back. What kind of child talked like that? Before he could reply, she scooted over and patted the space beside her. "You can sit here, I don't bite." Ethan sat down stiffly, unsure why the comment affected him. Her mother, sitting on the aisle, gave him an apologetic smile. "Sorry if she bothers you. She notices things." "It's fine," Ethan muttered, though it wasn't. Or maybe it was. The plane began taxiing. The cabin dimmed further, and the girl leaned toward him again, whispering as though sharing a secret. "Sometimes people look tired when they've been hurting alone." Ethan's chest tightened, unexpectedly, sharply. He opened his mouth to ask her what she meant. But the plane lifted into the sky, and the cabin fell quiet. A quiet Ethan didn't yet know would change everything. The plane leveled in the night sky, engines humming like a distant storm. Most passengers settled into the familiar rhythm of flying. Headphones, blankets, half sleep, but row 28 was anything but peaceful. Ethan Hale sat rigidly, staring forward, trying and failing to ignore the little girl beside him. Her presence felt strange, not annoying, just unsettlingly honest. She hadn't spoken since the flight took off, yet Ethan could still feel her earlier words echoing through him. "Sometimes people look tired when they've been hurting alone." He shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Children shouldn't see through people that easily. The girl peeked at him again, hugging her purple backpack. "Do you want some gum? My mom says it helps with ear popping." Ethan blinked. "No, thank you." She shrugged and popped a piece into her own mouth. A moment passed, then another. And then, without warning, she asked, "Did someone break your heart?" Ethan almost choked on air. He turned slowly toward her. "Excuse me?" She looked at him like she had asked whether he preferred apple juice or orange juice. "Your heart. It looks cracked." Her mother gasped softly. "Lily." But Lily wasn't finished. She studied Ethan with a seriousness no child should carry. "My teacher says some adults get cracks in their hearts when they forget they deserve love." or when they lose someone important, or when grown-ups shout at them. Ethan's throat tightened in a way he didn't expect. Kids shouldn't worry about adult problems. But adult problems make kids worry, Lily replied simply. Her mother placed a gentle hand on her arm. Sweetie, let the man rest. But Lily shook her head and leaned closer, lowering her voice as if sharing the most sacred secret in the world. You look like someone who needs a friend. Ethan froze. A friend? The word stung, not because he lacked them, but because for years he had replaced them with competition, deals, negotiations, and lawyers. He didn't even know the last time someone spoke to him without wanting something. He tried to push the feeling down. You're very perceptive for your age. I'm 7, she said proudly. I see things. What kind of things? She pointed at his chest. Things grown-ups hide. Ethan swallowed hard. She was right, and that scared him more than he wanted to admit. Then Lily pulled out something from her backpack, a small sketchbook, edges worn and soft from use. Do you want to see something? She asked gently. Ethan almost said no. Almost. But something inside him whispered, say yes. He nodded. Lily opened the book, and the picture staring back at him made Ethan suck in a breath. Because she had drawn him. Not physically, not his face, but a man sitting alone in a storm, holding pieces of a cracked heart. Ethan felt the air leave his lungs. How could a little girl see him this clearly? And more importantly, why did it hurt so much to be seen? For a long moment, Ethan couldn't speak. The drawing on Lily's lap was simple. Childish lines, soft colors, uneven shading. But it pierced him more sharply than any corporate attack, boardroom betrayal, or headline he had faced that week. The picture showed a man sitting beneath a storm cloud, rain pouring over him. But the detail that stole Ethan's breath was the heart in the man's hands, cracked, chipped, pieces missing, yet still glowing faintly, as if refusing to die. Lily watched him carefully, her small brow furrowing. Do you like it? Ethan swallowed hard. I don't know how you drew this. I draw what I feel, she said simply. And when you sat down, I felt sad. Her mother whispered, mortified, Lily, honey, please. But Ethan raised a hand softly. It's all right. No one had spoken to him this gently in years. He cleared his throat. Why does the man look alone? Because he is, Lily answered, as if obvious. Sometimes people can stand in a room full of others but still feel lonely. My teacher says that means their heart is heavy. Ethan exhaled shakily. A heavy heart. Yes, that was him. She took the drawing and pointed at the glowing cracks. But look, the heart isn't dead. It's trying. It just needs someone to help glue it. Her mother touched her shoulder. Sweetheart, hearts don't really use glue. Lily smiled softly. Some do, just not the kind you buy. The innocence of her words made something inside Ethan soften, a place he thought he had closed off forever. Lily, he said, why do you draw about hearts? Because I want to be a heart doctor, she said confidently. Not the kind with scalpel and needles, the kind that fixes what people feel. Ethan studied her. What made you want to do that? Lily looked down at her sketchbook, running a thumb across a page of faded drawings. My dad, she whispered. Her mother stiffened. Ethan's voice softened. What about him? Lily drew in a shaky breath. He got too sad. His heart cracked and cracked until he couldn't fix it anymore. A quiet ache filled Ethan's chest. I'm sorry, he said gently. Lily nodded, eyes glistening. Now I draw so I don't forget what people look like on the inside. Some hearts hurt louder than others. She looked back at him deeply, sincerely. And yours is the loudest I've seen in a long time. Ethan closed his eyes for a second. The cabin noise faded. The world blurred. All he could hear was the quiet truth of a child who somehow understood him better than anyone ever had. He opened his eyes again and found Lily watching him with fragile hope. "Don't worry," she whispered. "Storms don't last forever." For the first time in years, Ethan wanted to believe that. For a while, neither of them spoke. The plane hummed gently, lights dimmed, passengers drifting into mid-flight quiet. Stewardesses moved softly between aisles, offering water. A baby cried somewhere in the back. A couple whispered about vacation plans. Life went on as usual, completely unaware that seat 28B had become a place where a billionaire's heart was beginning to break open. Lily leaned her head against the window, watching the night sky. "You can tell me," she said suddenly. Ethan blinked. "Tell you what?" "Why your heart hurts." Ethan let out a tired, humorless laugh. "It's complicated." "Grown-up complicated?" Lily asked. "Yes." She nodded. "That's okay, I'm good at listening to complicated." Ethan looked at her, really looked at her. Small, fragile, yet fearless. And for reasons he didn't understand, he felt the weight inside him shift. He took a breath. "My company is falling apart," he began. "People I trusted betrayed me. Investors pulled out. I've been blamed for things I didn't do. And now, the whole world is waiting to watch me fail." Lily listened without interrupting. "And all of it happened so fast," Ethan continued, voice cracking, "that I didn't even have time to catch my breath." Lily touched his sleeve gently. "That's why you look tired." Ethan swallowed hard. "Yes," he whispered, "that's why." The words felt dangerous, like revealing a secret he had kept locked so deeply, even he had forgotten its shape. Lily scooted closer. "My mom says, when people fall apart all at once, it's because they've been strong alone for too long." Her mother's eyes widened. "Lily," but Ethan nodded slowly. "She's right." He leaned back in his seat, eyes burning. "I haven't cried in almost 10 years. Lily frowned as if it were the saddest thing she had ever heard. "Why not?" "Because people like me don't get to be weak." Lily's reply was immediate, soft, devastating. "Everybody gets to be weak, even superheroes." Ethan felt something inside him crack. His throat burned, his eyes stung. "I'm not a superhero," he whispered. "Maybe not," Lily said, "but you're someone trying very hard, and that's even better." Her mother wiped a tear silently. The plane turbulence shook lightly, making Ethan grip the armrest. Lily placed her tiny hand over his. "I'm here," she said firmly. "You don't have to be alone in the sky." Ethan turned to her, and for the first time in years, someone's kindness felt like warmth instead of threat. He whispered, "Thank you, Lily." She smiled. "That's what heart doctors do." Ethan closed his eyes, exhaling shakily. At 30,000 feet, surrounded by strangers, in the middle of a life he no longer understood, a child had become the one person he felt safe with. The cabin lights dimmed further, bathing the airplane in a soft blue glow. A few passengers slept with their mouths open. Others scrolled on their phones. But row 28 felt like it existed in another world entirely, a small pocket of truth suspended in the sky. Lily hugged her purple backpack tightly, as if something valuable hid inside. Ethan noticed the way her fingers trembled, delicately pressing into the fabric. "You okay?" he asked gently. Lily nodded, but it wasn't convincing. I don't talk about my dad a lot. Mom doesn't like it." Her mother stiffened. "Lily, we talked about this. You don't need to—" But Lily lifted her chin, eyes determined. "No, Mom. He needs to hear it." She looked at Ethan. "You remind me of him." Ethan's breath caught. "Me?" "Not how you look," Lily said. "How you feel." Her mother whispered, "Lily, please." But the girl pressed on, her voice trembling but steady. "My dad, he used to smile a lot. He told jokes even when money was tight. He'd pick me up from school and pretend the car was a spaceship. Every night he'd tuck me in and say, 'Your heart is your superpower, Lily. Protect it.'" Ethan felt a painful tightness grow in his chest. "But then," Lily continued quietly, "one day he lost his job, and then another, and then the bills got bigger than his smiles." Her eyes glistened. He tried to hide it, the sadness, the tired, the feeling that everything was falling apart. Ethan closed his eyes, because that part sounded too close, too familiar. "One night," Lily whispered, "I found him sitting in the dark. His hands were shaking. He didn't hear me come in. And when he finally looked at me, he looked like he was drowning." Her mother silently wiped a tear. Lily took a breath that broke on the way out. And then one morning, he was gone. Ethan's heart dropped. "Gone?" he whispered. Lily nodded slowly. "He went to heaven. Mum said his sadness got too heavy." The world around them blurred. Ethan's throat closed as a sharp ache spread through him, a kind of ache he couldn't name, part guilt, part recognition, part fear. Lily looked up at him with devastating honesty. "When I look at you, I see the same tired he had. Not in your bones, in your heart." She touched her chest gently, and I got scared. Ethan swallowed painfully. "Scared of me?" "No," Lily said softly. "Scared for you." The plane hummed softly. The world felt unbearably fragile. Her voice trembled one last time. "I couldn't help my dad, but maybe I can help you." And Ethan Hale, billionaire, feared CEO, national headline, felt something he hadn't felt in years, tears rising, uninvited, unstoppable. Ethan didn't remember the last time he cried, not during his divorce, not when his father died, not when his company's crisis first exploded into the news. He had trained himself to be steel, unbreakable, unreadable, immovable. But here, at 30,000 feet, with a child watching him with eyes full of truth and innocence, his armor began to crack. Lily reached out and gently touched his sleeve. "It's okay," she whispered. "Hearts don't break all at once. They crack little by little. That's why you didn't notice." Ethan felt the pressure in his chest rise. His throat tightened. His vision blurred. "I'm fine," he said automatically. But his voice was wrong, thin, trembling, nothing like the powerful tone the world recognized. Lily tilted her head. "My dad said that too." The words hit him like a punch. Her mother leaned forward, worried. "Lily, sweetie." But Ethan shook his head. "No, let her talk." He took a breath that sounded more like a gasp. The cabin lights softened, and the hum of the engines wrapped around them like a cocoon. Every sound felt distant. Lily watched him, small fingers curled gently over his hand. "You don't have to be strong right now," she whispered. "Not with me. I won't tell anyone." His breath broke. A single tear escaped, slow, warm, uninvited, sliding down the side of his face. He quickly wiped it away, embarrassed. But Lily smiled softly. "It's okay to cry," she said. "Mum says crying is like letting your heart breathe." Another tear fell, and another. Ethan leaned forward, elbows on his knees, face in his hands, not to hide, but because the weight finally felt too heavy to hold upright. "I've lost so much," he whispered, voice cracking. "My reputation, my friends, my trust in people, myself." Lily didn't flinch. She didn't look away. She simply scooted closer and rested her tiny hand between his shoulder blades, a gesture so small, so pure, it shattered him completely. Her mother reached for Lily, wanting to protect her, but Ethan raised a hand gently. "It's all right," he whispered. She's helping." He inhaled shakily, I didn't know how tired I was until she said it. Lily rested her head on his arm. Hearts whisper before they break, but grown-ups don't listen. Ethan let out a broken laugh. Painful, but real. You're very wise. She shrugged. I had to grow up fast. They sat like that for a long moment, a billionaire broken open, a child patching quiet fragments together, her mother silently watching with a tender, aching heart. When Ethan finally lifted his head, his eyes were red, but lighter somehow, as if something inside had been released. Lily squeezed his hand one last time. See, she whispered, you're still here. Your heart didn't fall apart. It just needed room. And Ethan Hale, for the first time in years, believed she might be right. For several minutes, Ethan sat silently, breathing slowly, letting the storm inside him settle. The cabin around them glowed faintly in the midnight blue of the overhead lights. Most passengers slept, unaware that a billionaire was unraveling and rebuilding himself in seat 28B. Lily leaned back, swinging her feet gently. Sometimes, she said softly, when people talk, their hearts get lighter. Ethan gave a small, tired smile. I think you're right. But her words stirred something deeper, something long buried, the kind of memory he had locked away so thoroughly that even he rarely dared touch it. My mum used to say that too, Ethan murmured. Lily straightened, curious. You had a mum like that? He nodded slowly. At least before things got complicated. Her mother, who had remained respectfully quiet, glanced at him, sensing the shift. Ethan inhaled deeply, as if pulling old shadows out of his lungs. I wasn't always rich, he began quietly. I grew up in a small apartment. My parents worked 2 jobs each. Money was tight, but we were happy. He paused. Until my dad lost his job. Lily's eyes softened. Like mine. Yes, Ethan whispered. Exactly like yours. He looked down at his hands, hands that had signed billion-dollar deals, hands that had once held very little. My dad changed after that. He became angry, quiet, scared of the future. He started pushing people away, even me. He swallowed. I didn't understand then, but now I see the same fear in myself. Lily reached for his sleeve again, gently, hesitantly. What happened to him? Ethan looked out the window, watching the dark sky ripple beneath the wing. He left, he whispered. One day he walked out and didn't come back. No goodbye, no explanation. Just gone. Lily sucked in a breath. Like my dad? Ethan nodded painfully. Yes, like your dad. Her mother wiped her eyes silently. Ethan continued, voice trembling. My mum broke after that. She loved him too much. She tried to stay strong, but she was grieving the man she used to know. She worked until she collapsed, and one night, her heart couldn't take it anymore. Lily's hand tightened around his. I'm sorry. Ethan closed his eyes. I think I've been running from that pain my whole life. I thought if I worked enough, earned enough, proved myself enough, maybe I wouldn't end up like him. Lily shook her head slowly. But running makes hearts tired. A quiet laugh escaped him, sad, honest, liberating. You're right, he said. I've been tired for a long time. Lily smiled softly. Then stop running. Her words hit him like truth wrapped in innocence. Ethan leaned back, exhaling deeply. For the first time since childhood, he no longer felt alone inside his memories. The plane glided through the night, cutting across clouds like a quiet silver arrow. Most passengers were asleep now, wrapped in blankets, drifting through dreams, but in seat 28B, the air felt charged, as if something unseen was about to shift. Ethan wiped the last traces of tears from his cheeks, breathing more steadily than he had in days. Lily leaned against her mother's arm, sketchbook on her lap, eyelids drooping but fighting sleep. "You should rest," Ethan whispered. Lily shook her head stubbornly. "Not until you look less lonely." A weak laugh escaped him. "I'm working on it." But as the cabin settled into silence, a sudden vibration against Ethan's thigh made him tense. His phone. He hesitated before checking the screen, expecting another headline, another crisis, another message from a lawyer telling him the situation had worsened. But it wasn't any of those. The caller ID read, "Mom's nurse, emergency line." Lily noticed the change in his face instantly. "What's wrong?" Ethan didn't answer. His fingers trembled as he swiped to accept the call. "Hello?" A quiet, urgent voice filled the speaker. "Mr. Hale? Your mother. She collapsed an hour ago. We stabilized her, but she's asking for you, repeatedly." Ethan felt the world tilt. "My mother? Is she conscious?" "Barely," the nurse replied, "but she's aware enough to know you're not here." Lily sat up straighter, fear widening her eyes. Ethan forced air into his lungs. "I'm on a plane. I can't get to her." Another pause. Then the nurse's voice softened. "Mr. Hale, I think she wants to say goodbye." The words punched the breath out of him. "Goodbye." Lily's hand grazed his arm gently. "Ethan, what happened?" He couldn't speak for a moment. He looked at Lily, at her innocence, at her empathy, and somehow the words came out, "My mom, she's dying." Lily's lips parted. "Oh." The small, fragile sound broke him more deeply than anything else. He pressed the phone to his ear. "Put me on speaker, please." A moment later, a faint, trembling voice came through. "Ethan!" His mother, his throat tightened painfully. "I'm here, Mom. I'm here." The cabin seemed to disappear. The walls, the seats, the passengers, everything fading until only her voice existed. "I waited," she whispered. "I knew you'd call." Guilt sliced through him. "I'm sorry, I should have—" "No." Her voice was barely breath. "You've carried too much alone. I'm proud of you. Always." A soft sob escaped him. Lily reached over and gently placed her hand on his wrist, anchoring him. "Mom," he whispered, voice cracking, "don't leave yet. I'm coming home." The nurse spoke again, quietly. "We'll keep her awake as long as we can." Ethan lowered the phone, shaking. Lily whispered, "We'll get there in time. I know it." For the first time since he boarded the plane, Ethan prayed she was right. The moment Ethan ended the call, the cabin felt smaller, tighter, airless. The quiet hum of the engine suddenly seemed deafening, like a wall between him and the woman waiting to say her final words. His mother, the only person who had loved him without condition, the only constant in a life built from broken pieces. Ethan pressed his palms together, breath shaking. "I should have been there. I should have—" Lily interrupted softly. "You're here now. That's what matters." He looked at her, eyes glossy. "But what if I don't make it in time?" "We will," Lily said firmly, with the kind of faith only a child could hold. "We have to." Her mother leaned in gently. "Is there anything the airline can do? A call? A priority landing?" Ethan shook his head. "Not unless there's a medical emergency on board, and even then, diversions depend on air traffic." He reached for the flight attendant button with trembling fingers. A few seconds later, a kind-looking attendant approached. "Sir, is everything all right?" "My mother is dying," Ethan said, barely holding himself together. "Please, anything you can do to speak with the captain, to land faster." The attendant softened instantly. "I'll notify the cockpit. I can't promise, but I'll try." When she walked away, Ethan collapsed back into his seat, rubbing his forehead with a trembling hand. His pulse hammered in his ears. Lily watched him with wide, worried eyes. "Ethan," she whispered, "breathe with me." He looked at her. "What? Breathe? Like this?" She inhaled slowly, deeply, then exhaled. "My dad taught me before he left. It helps when the world gets too heavy." Ethan hesitated, then tried. Inhale, exhale, shaky, but real. Again, again. Each breath hurt, but each breath also steadied him. "You're doing good," Lily whispered. "Your heart was screaming. Now it's just talking." He almost laughed, but the pain was too close, too raw. The lights dimmed fully as the cabin prepared for passengers to sleep, but Ethan stayed upright, staring at the seat in front of him as if afraid to blink. Lily finally broke the silence. "Ethan, do you want to tell me something about her?" He turned slowly. "Who?" "Your mom." The question hit him harder than he expected. His voice trembled. "She used to sing to me every night, even when she was tired, even when she worked double shifts. She'd sit by my bed and hum until I fell asleep." Lily smiled softly. "That means she loved you big." He nodded painfully. "Bigger than I deserved." "No," Lily said, squeezing his hand, "exactly how much you deserved." His vision blurred again. Suddenly, an announcement crackled through the speakers. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We've been informed of a passenger emergency on the ground. We are requesting priority landing permission." Ethan froze. Lily gripped his arm. "See," she whispered, "we're gonna make it." For the first time in hours, Ethan dared to hope. The plane touched down harder than usual, bouncing once before rolling down the runway. Ethan didn't feel the jolt. He didn't feel anything except the pounding urgency in his chest. Lily squeezed his hand. "We're here." Her voice grounded him, held him together, kept him from falling apart completely. When the plane reached the gate, the flight attendant rushed toward them. "Mr. Hale," the captain arranged for priority disembarkation. "Follow me quickly." Ethan grabbed his carry-on with shaking hands. Lily hugged her backpack. Her mother stood, torn between giving him space and wanting to help. "Go," she whispered. "Run." But before he left, Lily tugged his sleeve. "Wait." He turned. She reached into her backpack and pulled out her little sketchbook. She flipped to a fresh page, something she had drawn in the last quiet minutes of the flight. She handed it to him. It was a picture of a man, Ethan, standing beneath the same storm cloud as before, but now the rain had stopped. A small sun peeked through the clouds. The cracked heart in his hands had been patched with golden stitches. "It's kintsugi," Lily explained softly. "It means fixing broken things with gold to show they're stronger for having been broken." Ethan's eyes burned. He swallowed the lump in his throat. "Lily, I don't know how to thank you." She smiled gently. "Just don't disappear like my dad. Promise me that." He crouched to her level, something he rarely did with anyone, and cupped her tiny hands. "I promise," he whispered. "I won't disappear. Not from myself. Not from the people who matter." Her mother blinked back tears. Lily stepped forward and wrapped her arms around him in a small, warm hug. "Go find her," she whispered. "Your mom is waiting." Ethan pulled away with a trembling smile. "Goodbye, Lily." She shook her head. "No, not goodbye. Just to see you when your heart is ready." He stood, breath shaking, heart heavy, but somehow steadier, and ran. Through the jet bridge, through the terminal, through the sliding hospital doors. Only minutes later, a nurse guided him to the room. Inside, his mother lay weak but awake. When she saw him, her face lit up with soft relief. "Ethan," she whispered. He took her hand, tears spilling freely. "I'm here, Mum." "That's all I wanted," she murmured. He held her until her breathing steadied against his arm, her last moments peaceful, safe, and filled with love. Later, as he stepped outside the hospital, dawn painted the sky gold. A new day, a new chance. Ethan looked at the sketchbook page again, the heart mended with gold, and he whispered into the quiet morning, "Thank you, Lily." Sometimes the strongest medicine comes not from doctors, but from the courage of a child who sees our pain before we do. Healing begins the moment someone looks at us, truly looks, and says, "You don't have to carry this alone."